Yo, yo. Hi guys, today we got our first show match. We're gonna be doing a set of show matches kind of throughout today and like the following weekend. I'll talk more about like the matchups we got as the games get going and maybe towards the during the beginning of the games and stuff just to fill some time. But our first match today is gonna be DragOn versus Sterling. These guys have a bit of a history, so they wanted to kind of settle the score a little bit. Yeah, and we'll get into some details, like I said, in the beginnings of the game, but let's go ahead and hop into the game so they can get started. And then I'll talk about kind of the rules of the match today. All right, so these show matches we got, it's going to be for 15 bucks each. The rules are going to be, it's a best of 5. The first map is going to be randomized, and the loser is going to pick the map. The first map here, obviously, is Pantheon. We have Sterling versus DragOn. Like I said, these guys have a little bit of a history. They met kind of for the first time. I don't know if they played much before or even ever before, but they met in BSL, and Sterling actually took the series from DragOn. I think they even played twice, and DragOn lost both times. DragOn was not super happy with his performance, and he kind of wants to get some revenge. Now, he did end up getting matched up against him in the KCM last time, and got one of those wins back. So this is kind of like, you know, keep this rivalry going and see who comes out on top. I don't know a whole lot about DragOn's play. I haven't seen a whole lot of him, but I know he is a very strong player. I'm pretty sure he's like high A, sometimes low S. Yeah, 3-1 for Sterling overall. Or that's what it was in BSL. And yeah, I was gonna say Sterling is... Oh, that's your bet. Gotcha. Sterling's a very tricky player. He does a lot of random, crazy stuff, so you never know what he's gonna do. He's very smart and intelligent, and he kind of follows his own rules. So this is gonna be interesting. It's always interesting watching Sterling play, and as we see, we're already starting off with a BBS, and DragOn isn't going for that 12 Nexus, so it's not really like an auto loss. But that being said, it is still possible to lose to a BBS, even if you open Dragoon. If you skip that Zealot and you kind of mess up your micro some, you still can lose this. Also, sorry, I might be coughing a bit today. My excuse is that it is like just above freezing, and I just did a bunch of sprints before starting this up, so I do apologize for any coughing and stuff that you're going to get out of me for these games. So yeah, we're going to keep an eye on it. We'll see if DragOn goes for a Zealot first, or if he's just going to go straight into that Dragoon. If he's going to start a Zealot, it's going to be pretty much now, so it looks like we are not going to go for that Zealot. I don't know if 15 Zealot's a thing. And yeah, we're making more probes, so we're not going to make that Zealot. So there is chance, like I said, there is still a chance that this BBS can work. We'll just see how fast DragOn reacts and how good his micro is going to be against this. Right now we're going to be stocking up these Marines, stockpiling these Marines. And here he's going to see that it is cross spawn, so we're going to start going. He is unfortunately a little bit on the wrong side, so it's just going to add a couple extra seconds, which can make a big difference in the long run, but we'll see. SCV is going to get on the inside, and this could be a big deal, because if it's back behind this Dragoon, there is a chance for body blocking. Okay, so we're actually going to start the bunker right away. And this, to me, is a little bit dangerous. It's kind of in the path of the drill. And you see DragOn, he's going to send the probe up here, so he's going to have that drilling option. Going to kill his SCV right away, but does lose, what, 3, 4 probes right away. And yeah, this is actually looking a little bit scary. We'll see how much damage the probes can get done to these Marines. And he's going to get inside the bunker, and that's going to make this pretty tough. Dragoon range, not sure how far along it is right now. He is actually going to need to rebuild this pylon even, because you have to have Dragoon to hold, or Dragoon range. But the crappy part is, even if he gets the second Dragoon out, this SCV is kind of in position to body block, and you see here he's going to try and make it come out on the left side and maximize the amount of damage it takes if it even makes it out. And yeah, I mean, this is looking really bad. We didn't start the pylon yet either. So Dragoon not going to be able to come out. Dragoon range not going to continue. Shield battery going to be unpowered, and this actually looks like just a quick win for Sterling. I don't see how DragOn can survive from here. He's going to lose this gateway. He's trying to build another gateway here at the top. Gonna have another bunker come down here to put pressure on this, but I mean, there's 7 Marines here and this one Dragoon that's a bit low. Probe's gonna try and get pulled, but gonna quickly target them down. And yeah, DragOn's looking pretty dead, guys. Dragoon gonna walk forward and try to finish off one Marine, but I mean, I think we've lost, what, 2 Marines so far. And that's kind of what I mean. Like, BBS, even though it's not a 12 Nexus, it's just hard to hold. Yeah, GG is going to be called, and we're going to go straight into game 2. Quick win there for Sterling, pulling out the BBS on game 1. That is the Sterling experience. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, what's up, Face? The DragOn might be looking at the replay. Gonna play Dominator. Oh, I should have a scoreboard. Sorry, guys. Let me get that real quick. Maybe this one? Okay. Give me 1 second. Let me set this up. I'm gonna wait for the intro here. Got DragOn, Sterling. That is Dominator. Look good? We'll just have the CPL 11. Let's not worry about that. Alright. So yeah, quick win there for Sterling, whipping out the BBS on game 1. DragOn skipping that Zealot. We'll see if he skips any more Zealots this series. Alright, Dominator is kind of an interesting choice. I actually don't see people picking this map for any matchup very often, so I'm kind of curious to see what DragOn will do. I know he did lose to Sterling on this map when they played it in BSL, but I do think this map probably is pretty difficult for Terran because it's just high ground after high ground after high ground, so it seems like pushing is incredibly annoying if Protoss plays it really well. Plus you have like this like easy like kind of elevator play you can go for if you get like robos and stuff up here, so it does kind of lend itself to these like proxy robo plays. So we'll see what DragOn wants to go for. Again, I don't know that DragOn plays very cheesy. I don't think I've ever seen him play kind of anything outside of standard. He seems just like a strong, solid standard player. So I'm curious if at some point we'll see him kind of whip out anything special. And he didn't even go for like the 50-50 pylon scout. It just seems like he's going to rely on just strong standard gameplay to try and beat Sterling. Which, you know, kind of makes sense. Like, if you ask Moonright, Sterling's not very good at the game. He can only win by getting these early game advantages, and he can't win a macro game, so maybe he feels the same way about Sterling. Or maybe DragOn does. And yeah, I think we're at 16. I think we did go for the Zealot here this time. And this is a good map for it as well. Like, the Zealot pressure, the Zealot goon pressure to try and get control of this ramp is actually very strong. Yeah, so here comes the Zealot, so it's going to be the Zealot goon opener. We may see the kind of Zealot goon probe pressure to try and take the Terran natural. And yeah, with the Zealot staying home, it makes me think that's exactly what we're going to be going for. Unfortunately for DragOn, he was first scouted, so Sterling sees that, and he's going to go for the bunker before CC. This is the correct response when you see that Zealot opener, especially when it's staying home like this. So this is going to make it where the Zealot goon pressure just won't be able to do as much. It does obviously delay the CC for a bit. But that's fine to make that trade because Protoss obviously building their expansion as well. That being said, we do have the proxy pylon. Sterling scouting around and actually going to come back around the long way. Looks like he's maybe going to be scouting 4 proxies. Probably noticing that the probe did not come home. So I said that about DragOn being like a solid center player. We're seeing a little bit of that aggression that we were talking about. And like I said, the robo play, I mean, it's exactly what I was saying. It's very strong on this map. And yeah, Sterling is searching around, trying to see, like, you know, where did that probe go? Is he up to something, like, weird, fancy? What's going on here? But so far, a very standard opener from Sterling. Got the Vulture opener. He's going to run out here into the Dragoon and is going to go up and actually spot the gateway robo. So we'll see how he responds to this. Just because you spot it doesn't mean that you can stop it that easily, though. This is a very difficult build for Terran to handle. Also, good pathing from the Dragoons. Gonna get a couple extra shots. May actually get the pick here. And yeah, there goes the Vulture. This is actually really nice for DragOn because by getting rid of that Vulture, we can continue to rally units and we don't have to worry about it running in and being annoying. So this just makes the play from here much, much smoother for DragOn. And it looks like it's just going to be the elevator play. We don't see a Robo Bay or anything like that, so I don't think we're going to get a Reaver. It's just going to be straight up gateway elevator into the main. I'm a little worried for DragOn in this case because, like I said, I got spotted early, so we're going to continue Marines. And SCVs pulled against it actually do really, really well. But we're going to be pressuring the front here in the meantime. Gonna kill this SCV setup for our natural if we decide that we want it. Think gonna come out here. Shuttle now ready. Gonna try and come back to defend himself. Like I said, we'll see. Sterling, I'm sure will pull his SCVs and fighting with the extra Marines and the tanks. Like, it's gonna be very hard for DragOn to pull this off. But it's gonna be 3 goons, 2 zealots. 4th goon up here on the high ground now. Gonna jump on top of this tank pretty much immediately. 2nd tank is out though. SCV is kind of lagging a little bit behind, didn't get the body blocks. They would have liked to have gotten these zealots. And both tanks go down now, and I think this is the final Marine as well. This bunker, I'm pretty sure, is empty. So we're going to be relying on reinforcements. Tank probably about halfway done, and would like to see the additional goons getting elevated. Obviously, he's trying to micro to make sure this doesn't happen, because SCVs are so good against goons. And unfortunately, both goons get surrounded by the SCVs. Yeah, and this is the other thing I was kind of saying. SCVs are just the counter to Dragoons. It's very good against builds like this. Gonna try and focus down this tank. Oh, we did get a Robo Bay. Oh, I didn't see. Okay, we did start the Robo Bay and got a Reaver. So now suddenly this looks terrible for Sterling. Yeah, he must have started that right when I looked away. And yeah, GG's gonna be called. And DragOn says, "You cheese me, I cheese you," and we're going to tie this series up 1-1. You're zooming through these games. Right, it will be Sterling's map choice now. Deja vu. That's how they do it. I actually don't know how to do deja vu, but whatever. I don't know if it's all one word or not. It's good enough. Alright, hopping into game 3 here with DragOn versus Sterling. Game 1, we have the BBS. Like I said, DragOn punching back with pretty much a cheese of his own. The proxy robo elevator play, it's just so strong on that map. And even though Sterling spotted it very early, he did end up dying. I will say, a little bit of a mistake. Well, not even a little bit of a mistake. A pretty big mistake with the SCV pull to not get the body blocks that he needed. He needed those SCVs to block the zealots and block the goons from getting to the tanks. So, yeah, a bit of a missed micro there from Sterling does get him killed, even though he spotted it coming. It's just a strong build, and you have to respond accurately, or, yeah, you'll just die anyway. So, goodbye, DragOn. We'll see if we can get a standard game. That being said, I don't think I've ever seen a standard Sterling game. So we'll see what we go for. But I like that from DragOn. Just kind of punching him back with the same kind of nonsense. Sorry. Now, Deja Vu typically is a Terran favored map. Even though you do have this like kind of high ground that you have to push through. It's just you have a pretty good third, and a lot of time Protoss has a bad third, and in this case, Protoss has a pretty tough spawn, and this is kind of what I mean. So like, coming down to this third base, it's just expanding right in front of the Terran into this small choke, so it's very hard for Protoss to expand this way, so he's forced to kind of take this third, unless he just has really powerful map control at the top of this ramp. And it just kind of sucks for Protoss because its options are basically, hey, we're expanding right into the face of Terran, or we have to go all the way around here to get to our third, which sucks for transfer and sucks for defending. Sterling is going to go for that cross scout first, which is interesting. I think he does this, actually, I've talked to him a little bit about it. He likes to do the cross spawn scout because if he scouts at 12 Nexus, he's not going to try to bust it anyway, so he doesn't ever go for the end scout. The like standard in scout in case of a 12 Nexus. So he likes to see like if it's crawl spawn, probably wants to check the middle, make sure nothing crazy is happening there, and then can play a little bit greedier or whatever depending on what he sees. DragOn looks like he went for kind of a goon scout, like he's waiting for the goon to be started before he went for the scout. So this is kind of a greedier scout. I think it's fine to do. I kind of like doing things like this. You don't really need to scout too early for Protoss unless you're planning on optimizing your build based on the early information. Unfortunately for Sterling, he is going to get last scout after going cross scout, so it's going to be a pretty late scout for him. DragOn's going to show up at his front before he's found him. But I actually like the scouting pattern from DragOn. It's going to be, basically it's goon scout one way and then it's 2 scout with a probe. Yeah, I like this. I don't see it very often. So, gonna find Sterling here with his goon. We'll see this probe come back now. Gonna confirm the CC, make sure nothing crazy is going on. Because you never know with Sterling. Second goon is out. Robo-Bay, or not Robo-Bay, but Robotics has started. Dragoon did take a lot of damage trying to pick off this Marine, so it's not great from Dragon there. Very quick second factory here from Sterling, so I imagine we're going to see that 3 tank push. Potentially. Well, I guess if it's 3 tank, it would have been a little bit sooner. But yeah, going to take a tank shot on this goon, and now it's very low, so it's getting a little bit scary if Sterling does decide to go for a push here. With that goon being low, we'll see kind of what Dragon wants to go for. We got a quick second gate following the Robo. And if he cuts any goons, he could be in a little bit of danger if Sterling is going for a push here. So we may see, I guess, 3 tank and then double Vulture follow-up potentially. We have no upgrades started here on the machine shop. That being said, okay, it's going to be an eBay. That makes sense. It is very logical to go eBay. And we're actually going to get the 3-gate obs from Dragon. Pretty much the safest thing you can do is Protoss 3-gate obs. It's going to stop like any early game pushes. But we actually went for second machine shop here, so it's not going to be double Vulture. Pushing out with 2 tanks, 3 Marines. And we're going to have 4 goons, one of which is very, very low. Okay, I think he's going to his high ground. Potentially I'm going to wait for the next tank. Which isn't building. So I don't know. Not entirely sure. Maybe just wanted to push some goons back and spook them. Okay, our armory is done. Upgrading down here in the corner. I didn't spot that. If I'd seen the army, I would have realized a little bit more of what's going on, so my bad on that. A little bit hard to see here, tucked down in this corner, underneath the mini-map. And double upgrades going now on these machine shops. So, yeah, so far looking like a pretty standard opener from Sterling. No Vulture shenanigans, not looking to like mine anything up or be annoying or anything like that. Kind of here comes the kind of 6.5 minute push. It's basically testing like, hey, did you skip siege mode? Because if you skip siege mode, I'm gonna show up at your farm with a bunch of goons, and you can just die to this if you're being too greedy. And here he's gonna see just the 2 tanks, 2 Vultures, and we got 7 goons here. We'll see if he decides he wants to pressure at all. But maybe happy just to sit on the high ground. Gonna be taking us third over here. Like I said, he has to go all the way out here for his third. And yeah, since we did not go in right away with these goons, we are just going to be controlling the high ground. Just going to spread out in a circle and sit in an arc. Vulture's going to try and sneak by. 1 Vulture does get picked off. Dragon a little bit too slow to react, so he's not going to be able to get over to the ramp here in time to stop the Vultures from getting out. So 3 Vultures are going to get out on the map with mines and speed. Even laid 1 mine here, just kind of for vision. And yeah, he's just gonna kind of shirk around with these Vultures, get some information as he can, lay down some mines and attack pass, and just kind of be annoying. Gonna pick off this probe that is building that base. And one of these Vultures is gonna get picked off again. So now just 2 Vultures remaining, but still good to do. Obviously losing the Vultures, not great, but this is good to get on the map, made the Protoss a little bit more uncomfortable, because, I mean, you see just by coming through here, right, he dislodged the arc here. We're going up to 5 factory now from Sterling and a 3rd CC, so far a very standard build from Sterling, so showing us that he is willing to play kind of a normal game, goes for the scan on this Observer, is going to not be able to pick it off with the Marines, so kind of painful to lose a scan for that. Gonna try and finish it off here, but that will be his last scan for now. Let's see, 3rd up and running for Dragon. We got Citadel on the way. We do have the support bay. I assume we have a Reaver. Or at least we're making a Reaver. Also very good on these maps with these high grounds for controlling, kind of punishing Terran when they try to push out. And I imagine at Dragon's level, he's going to have very strong Reaver control, so we're going to keep an eye on that Reaver and see what kind of value he can get out of that. At this stage in the game, I don't think he's going to try to go into the base. It's more just for controlling any pushes that could come out. Sterling getting some mines here on the right side and keeping these vultures here in position. Just going to try and slow the growth from DragOn. DragOn, nice wall-offs here, but it is very vulnerable to any drop play. If a drop were to come in, it could be very annoying, but that's another nice thing about the shuttles as Protoss, is you can use them very defensively as well. It's very good for kind of quickly getting into position to defend bases from drops or anything like that. And, you know, like say you get like Reavers and stuff behind these pylon walls, the vultures can attack the walls, that kind of thing. Gonna poke back in these vultures and kind of see what kind of information you can get. Sees a bunch of goons and loses one. Sees the full wall here now from DragOn. Did manage to push up to this high ground without taking damage, since DragOn was not up here anymore, and managed to snipe off another observer, which is nice. CC gonna land, and this is another nice thing about the mine that he planted earlier. He sees that there's nothing, like if something comes around, he'll know about it, right? And in the meantime, he knows that the army's up here. We got the 2 Reavers here with the shuttle now, in case Sterling is going for a push. I don't know that DragOn... I don't think DragOn's confirmed yet that there is a third base yet for Sterling, but we're at the 10.5 minute mark, so we should start to kind of feel that there is most likely third base here from Sterling. Observer is going to get away from these 2 Marines. Can use another scan, but this is still not in range, so the Observer is still going to get away. So both scans used without getting the Observer. And now it's going to fly down to 6 o'clock and confirm this third base is up and running for Sterling, which is a little bit scary for DragOn because we're only on 3 base, so we're not really working towards a 4th base at the moment. He is up about 30 supply right now, but we don't have much busting potential, I don't think. We do have an additional Reaver. We've added a bunch of extra Zealots, but I only see 1 shuttle so far. And it's a strong defensive position here from Sterling. We're going to take the 4th base now here at this location for DragOn, which, like I said, is a little bit scary. If Terran can kind of control this space here, then you just have this very quick and easy push into this 4th base, which is very hard for Protoss to defend. Scan's going around and spots these Zealots, so he's going to pick off just the Zealot. Be a little bit annoying. We have this shuttle going around now with the Reavers going to be dropping down to 6 o'clock. Sees that there's nothing here to defend. Sterling did spot it coming, but I don't know if he saw it coming, you know what I mean? It did fly over the mines, but it doesn't seem like there's much of a reaction. Sterling's scanning to look for the shuttle, so he does realize there's a shuttle out there somewhere, but he's actually going to miss, and it's going to be a bit of a hiccup here for Sterling now with these Reavers dropping down. Doesn't even see the Reaver down here, so going to get 2 pretty good shots. 5 SCVs going down so far. Couple more going down, 2 more going down, so getting good value out of these Reaver. And you're starting to see it just already in that little bit of damage that gets done, which I say a little bit, I mean it's about 10 SCVs, it's pretty painful. It also disrupts the mining, and now you see there's going to be a supply kind of blooming up here for DragOn, getting a lot of value now out of these Reavers. A few more Vultures going down to hit on these tanks. And even though eco-wise it looks good for Sterling, we did take all this damage now, and a little bit worried. DragOn pushing with a bunch of Zealots. I don't know if this was intentional or not. Just gonna blood off a bunch for free. I'm gonna pull back. Looks like we made an additional shuttle, making a bunch more Zealots. And with how well those Reavers did, if you can get 1 solid fight, then the game could just end very abruptly for Sterling. That being said, Sterling is working on those double upgrades. We are currently at 1-1, working on 2-2. We do have a bit of a supply block, so we've got the triple supply depots coming down. And nice Reaver play, gonna pick off a tank, and should be able to get a 2nd tank here as well. Even killing these Vultures, some more SCVs. I mean, these two Reavers are getting tons of value. A shotgun and dud, unfortunately. Another tank gonna go down. Be careful though, we're 1 shot away from losing that shuttle, and yeah, with that, DragOn's gonna be like, okay, let's not overdo it. We'll run back home, but very, very good value out of this Reaver. Gonna be trying to expand towards the top right in the meantime. Lose a couple of goons. Okay, just 1 goon to these mines. Scans going down, see what's going on. He sees the double Stargate, sees the Arbiter. But Dragon's very far from getting to Arbiter to rely on fighting, so we'll see what he kind of wants to do in the meantime. He's going to sit here max, but Sterling also max. And after losing a fair amount of SCVs, well, that means actually he's got a lot of SCVs. So his economy looking pretty good, but we're very close to mining out on these 2 bases, and we're not really working towards another base at the moment. So I imagine what we're going to see, Sterling's going to look to push out with his 2-2 and maybe take middle with this SCV while he's pushing. So this is a very, very scary push from Sterling. 2-2, like I said, should be very close to done. This base is going to be extremely difficult to defend, and you kind of see exactly what I was talking about. Like, Protoss can't attack through here, and these like tiny chokes here. One Reaver actually going to go down immediately. Bleed off a few Zealots as well, and you pretty much have to concede this base. It's just not defendable. This is one of the reasons this map is so hard for Protoss in this matchup. Two finished. Did not start at 3-3 right away. We'll keep an eye on that though. Yeah, all these probes are going to go down now. And it looks like Dragon is going to try and go for this fight. We did get the unsiege here, so he's going to be able to clean this up actually and be able to save this Nexus. Sterling caught a little bit off guard, was unsieged. We got storm drops now, catching this clump of units. Really nice storms on these units, but we are funneling pretty hard. Supply very even at the moment in this fight. But Dragon doesn't need to like win the fight here necessarily. I mean, he's doing a great job trading, but even just pushing this back, saving this base is actually enough for him. His economy is about to explode. We're double expanding behind this. We still have our fort base up and running, so very good from Dragon pouncing on top of this when Sterling was unsieging and walking backwards. And our 3-3 is on the way now for Sterling. But like I said, I'm a little bit worried now. We started our 4CC in the middle now, but we did not get the kill in this base. We did kill a lot of the probes, so it's not getting a lot of value at the moment. Dragon needs to be careful not to bleed off too many units after this trade that went really well for him. But he does want to kind of sit here to protect this base a little bit longer is what he's trying to do. But yeah, taking a lot of free damage here now, just bleeding off observers, bleeding off random units. Bit of a control issue, control mistake from Dragon. Gonna lose one shuttle, second shuttle barely gonna survive. And yeah, on the back end of that, Dragon kind of took a lot of free damage, so a little bit more concerning you see in the supply now. Sterling up 40 supply. But like I said, the main issue for Sterling is just the economy. He's going to be drying up very, very soon. But going to re-push into this position now. We did rebuild some cannons, but it's going to quickly die off. And yeah, we're going to try to just save these probes. I think this is the right call from Dragon not to kind of push his luck and fight here again. You know, we have these extra 2 bases, so he's not on a timer right now. He can take his time, be a little bit more patient, don't overforce. Our supply is low. Sterling still maxed, even though that fight went really, really well for Dragon earlier. Got our double arbiters are producing, nothing out yet. Looks like we're looking to try and pick off a couple tanks with some shuttle play, but Sterling did unsiege in time. Gonna pick off these vultures though, so kind of annoying for Sterling in the sense that he still hasn't killed this base, and this CC actually looks like it had to lift and run away. Yeah, not sure. It was building here, right? I don't know if this is like a different CC or what happened, but it looks like he backed it up a little bit. Gonna push into the main now, and yeah, I'm a little bit worried for Dragon still. Nice EMP hits, well, one of those Templar. I actually thought I was going to get both. I should know better. EMP is like the tiniest radius. In the meantime, Dragon going to attack in the middle and kill this base. And his play is basically coming down to trying to starve Sterling on his 3 bases. But the issue for me is just, I don't know how he deals with this push. Nice storm on the vultures there. Going to kill a bunch of the vulture. Good storm there, killing that observer as well. Getting a lot of damage on these tanks. We do have the high ground to try and defend a little bit, so the one thing obviously Dragon has going for him is he can defend this high ground and just kind of slow this push. We are bleeding in the meantime, though, a lot of units very inefficiently. Would like to have seen him maybe stockpile that a little bit more and then try to go for the flank, because the army is not huge here. There's a bunch back here at home for Sterling. So he's going to try, hopefully, to clear this before this all meets back up. When all this meets back up, I don't see how DragOn can beat the army anymore, so he's going to have to try and fight it kind of piecemeal like that. Sterling is now mined out on 2 bases, so he's basically on 1 base mining. We're long distance mining this middle base. And what it comes down to is just how efficient can DragOn get with this army. It looks like his Arbiters did get EMP'd as well earlier, so we have no stasis. And yeah, here comes the army from Sterling. Another huge EMP. Hits several goons there, softening them all up. Tank's gonna siege after all the zealots die. Looking pretty scary for DragOn. We lost the space. That being said, I mean, we're still mining on 3 base. We're adding additional gateways in the top right. We're gonna make it very difficult for him to kill these bases up, or this base up here. So we'll see. We'll see if DragOn can kind of grind this out. We are going to lose this Arbiter to this 1 Goliath. You do hate to see that. Gonna come down this ramp and try to clean it up. Nice mine pool. Oh my god, we just killed like 5 tanks with that mine drag. Sterling is pushing to the top right here. Going to be able to dislodge this natural. And maybe DragOn can pump enough units here to hold the ramp. We'll see how that goes. So he does kind of clear this army on this side. Supply is still looking very even. Sterling mining in the middle now, so he's on 2 base mining, which is pretty much all Terran needs. Like, if they're on 2 base mining, they're doing pretty well in general. DragOn knocked down the 2 base mining for himself, which typically means it's very Terran favored. 12 o'clock is getting very low in supply. He matrix even on these vultures to try and get as much value as he can. We do have 2 Arbiters with enough energy for stasis now. We have Storms on the high grounds with these goons, but this army is going to pivot to 12 o'clock and not try to push up that ramp, probably for the best. In the meantime, DragOn going to try to counter this base in middle. I actually like this call. Your 12 o'clock's not super important anymore. It is just about mined out. But this does mean that we're going to be on 1 base mining versus 1 base mining. Sterling supply is slightly below DragOn's now, but he's very close to mining out his last base. So even though mining is even for the moment, oh, this is actually really nice from DragOn. So he did actually get the transfer, and he's going to be able to get back to this 9 o'clock base. And DragOn might actually be able to just kind of squeeze this game out. Sterling does scan here and sees the transfer, so he knows this is up and mining. Sterling very, very low on money now. We're getting very close to being completely out of mining, even though his army looks a lot stronger. Gonna come in for the stasis. EMP does go down, but after the stasis gets just 1 vessel, 1 tank, so not that bad. But another second stasis getting a lot of the army, and now this is gonna get cleaned up very easily for DragOn. Sterling gonna look probably to counter this 9 o'clock. There he goes. DragOn can kind of just play refugee style now. Looks like we're going to re-expand to this expansion. I like that call. It's okay to let this base die, I think. Just let your cannons get a little bit of value. Make sure you clean this army up. Yeah, there goes the additional Nexus. And he's seeing with this Observer that Sterling's not expanding anymore, so he knows Sterling's going to be very, very low on money. Yeah, very scrappy game so far. Now the stasises are going to run out. I mean, there's a lot of units here from DragOn. Could re-expand it here if he wants, but it's kind of almost not worth it. There's just not a whole lot of resources left, so I don't think he's going to go for that. Got 2 more Arbiters out now. We're at, what, 3 Arbiters total. Getting close to having 4 stasis worth. Sterling gonna try and retake this mid now. Good EMP on this Arbiter. Storm, I think we got EMP on that top Templar as well, but nice storms here on the front of the army, and it looks like DragOn's going to maybe barely clean this up. We have an additional storm coming down from the shuttle here. And yeah, he's just kind of trinkling in whatever few units he has, but there's a lot of goons left over, guys. Only 1 tank now, 2, 3 tanks coming up to join the fight, but it looks like DragOn's going to barely break this position. And without this mining, Sterling's basically dead. We're mining the last little bits of our third base now. And DragOn very happily mining on one base. Second base just finished up. I think that's going to do it. It's came down kind of to the wire. I'm really well played from DragOn. Felt like his army movement expansion style seemed to be pretty much exactly what he needed to do. I really agreed with pretty much everything he was doing, so really well played by DragOn. Sterling's going to be able to push this back, but the issue is just DragOn's been mining pretty well behind this, and we start to see it reflected in the supply a little bit now. Oh, and unfortunately we lost vision, so the mine doing a little bit of friendly fire. Yeah, we're just going to have... It's a mining difference now. DragOn very healthy on two bases. Sterling gonna have to retake this middle. We're flying a burning commencer to mid. And just during all this downtime, we're just gonna see DragOn's supply go up and up and up while Sterling tries to kind of reestablish himself here in mid. Luckily for Sterling, we're on move command here with this army from Protoss. Every unit very precious in these kind of games. It looks like supply-wise, like he has enough to hold, but I just don't see much here. Oh, okay, here we go. Yeah, a bunch of extra army here. And I don't know, actually, this could be kind of close. The issue is we're going to have a stasis here, and yeah, nice stasis, getting 2 tanks and a Goliath, which when the armies are this small is such a big difference. That being said, Storm, a little bit of a miss, hits just the 1 tank. Gun's going to try and sit on the outside and clean up some of these SCVs. And losing SCVs right now is just so painful for Sterling. I mean, his mining is just in the gutter. DragOn up about 60 supply now, 50 supply. Spacing these tanks pretty much perfectly to get as much possible value out of these Dragoons as he can. Yeah, pretty much perfectly pulled back. We have another stasis ready when we need it. Yeah, here come the reinforcements. DragOn gonna regroup. Even long distance mining is natural. I really like kind of how DragOn's paying attention to the little things. I think this is something I wish players kind of did more often. Like little things like this. Like, yeah, it might not seem like a lot. We got 5 probes or 6 probes, whatever. What have we got? Yeah, 6. We got 6 long distance mining. Look at the stasis even on the SCVs to get this tank. And GG's gonna be called, and DragOn gonna take the lead now, 2-1. Game point. Alright guys, we're getting Monty Hall for game 4. Sterling gonna make it weird now. Alright, hopping into game 4. DragOn saw the map and hit Sterling with an LOL. Sterling responds simply with a smile. This is a Sterling map if I've ever seen a Sterling map before. Now, me personally, and a lot of people don't agree with me, but some people have started to agree with me. I think this map is really underrated. I actually think as far as weird maps go, I genuinely think this is a good map. It's not like super complex, right? It's not super weird. You can play pretty standard, and actually, even though people like to cheese on it because it's weird, I think it actually rewards macro play quite well. We'll see kind of what they want to do. Sterling, though, not necessarily a macro player, right? So we'll see what he's thinking when he picked this map. We'll see how DragOn responds. I'm sure DragOn, based on him saying LOL, that he has not practiced on this map very much. So we'll see what he can come up with on the fly. Gonna stay quiet just for a minute, let my voice recover. I lose my voice very, very easily when I'm solo casting, so we'll chill a little bit while the early game stuff is going down until we start to see something weird. Alright, looks like we're going for a 13cc. I actually do this on this map quite often. Now, I don't personally like doing the hop because to me it's risky. If, like, for instance, you were getting hopped on the same side with a probe or something, then it's an absolute nightmare to try and deal with. That being said, Sterling did go for the top side, DragOn went for the bottom side. So this is kind of those nuances that can happen on this map. A little bit of a risk from Sterling, and it's going to pay off. We did get a fast nexus from DragOn as well, so it's going to be macro openers for both players, which is nice to see. Probe just kind of eyeballing these minerals for now. I assume we're going to go for a pylon hop. Or we're just happy to hang out. Okay, there it is. First one gonna fail, unfortunately. Second gonna fail as well. Yeah, and this is kind of the pain. There's definitely some RNG stuff with this map. Trying to figure out how he wants to go about it. Maybe even just giving up on it at this point. Wasting too much time, too much money. Gonna start mining out here now to get to his 12 Nexus. You kind of need to do it before, because now what's going to happen is these probes are going to try to return to this Nexus. So they're just going to run around if you don't manually return them. So, a bit of a mistake there from DragOn. I'm sure this, again, is from him just not playing the map very often. So, yeah, realizing now he has to manually return cargo to the main base. Yeah, typically when you're doing this, you want to stick one probe on the mineral line so that it's mined out in time. Yeah, so this is going to be pretty painful for DragOn. We actually made a Zealot, which is pretty interesting. I'm surprised to see a Zealot here. Yeah, and this just comes from inexperience of the map. Bit painful for DragOn for sure. Zealot, I guess, just worried about any potential cheese from Sterling, which is pretty understandable. And Sterling didn't even scout, right? Yeah, I think he stayed completely blind, so just has no idea what DragOn is doing and just going kind of all in on the... Man, I hope he doesn't do anything to me. We're just going to play pure macro. These minerals finally being mined out for DragOn now. Armory Academy, so we're just going to go for this kind of upgrade style. I've seen Sterling do this quite a bit. He kind of likes this upgrade style. He's usually pretty good at finding observers and sniping observers. DragOn's goon's kind of sitting at the gateway looking like a new player, truthfully, but I mean, I get it. There's not really a whole lot to do anyway. Trying to hop a probe here down middle. And he's just not been getting very lucky with these bounces. Very, very annoying for DragOn. Okay, there we go. It's a much better spot to do it, actually. So yeah, good adjustment there from DragOn to get this probe over. But he's still going to see the lack of expansion, or he's not going to find the expansion, rather, from Sterling. Which can make you nervous. He doesn't know what's going on. He can't get any information. I mean, you can even tell, like, look where the probe's going. DragOn just has not played this map. definitely looking out of his comfort zone at the moment. Finally gonna hop into the main just in time to see a tank get popped and get basically no information whatsoever. We do have an observer on the way, though, so DragOn's gonna be getting some information soon. Kind of random pylons everywhere, just trying to get as much vision as he can. Sterling gonna scan the main, see the 3 gates, see the observer come out. And DragOn basically just going for kind of a standard opener after the 12 Nexus. Okay, support bay on the way for DragOn. Additional factory coming down for Sterling. Starport on the way. This will probably be for upgrades. And Sterling, we'll see what he wants to go for. We'll see if he wants to go for like a strong 2-1 timing. Kind of what he's thinking is a nice gas bank right now, which is going to be great for him. Scan comes down into the main looking for observers, but there is no observer here yet. And finally, DragOn's going to confirm this expansion. He'll be able to click the minerals and see when it was taken. And you can kind of see that it's been a while. Sorry about that. Observer gonna fly into the main. The only 3 factories. Gonna see the science facility. Gonna see the second armory on the way. So he knows this is just a upgrade style for Sterling. He is very far ahead on economy now. Is Sterling though? No third base still started for DragOn. Here at 8 minutes. Probably largely because he just didn't know what was happening. He's just been having a hard time getting information. Gonna take this forward Nexus now here in the center. And we also dropped a probe here in the bottom left. On this kind of island. Sterling scanning around, sees the 3rd Nexus there. Sees this base is empty. Just both players are trying to get as much information as they can. But if he thinks that's the 3rd Nexus, which it is, he should be feeling in a really strong position at the moment. Second robo now coming down for DragOn's is going to be the shuttle style. The only thing that concerns me is just the lack of economy. His economy's not been as good as he would like for it to be so far in this game compared to Sterling. Pylon block is at least going to delay this command center a little bit. Now we have a bunch of additional factories coming down for Sterling. What's it going to put us at? 4, 8. Because we're going up to 8, yeah? It's going up to 8 factories. Meanwhile, we're just now making our 4th gateway for DragOn. Kinda scary. It's going to be a big macro explosion here for Sterling very soon. One thing I like about Monty Hall too is just the nice big bases. You can fit a lot of gateways and factories here. But so we have some aggression coming in from DragOn. Bit of a drop on top of these tanks, killing a couple tanks. Sterling not entirely in position, very spread out with his army. We have been laying no mines, so we had no idea where the army was. So DragOn gonna get a nice jump on top of this base, kill a bunch of army, kill some SCVs with these Reavers. We can even finish this command center, and he does recognize that, right-clicks the CC, and he's gonna take it down and back up. So very, very nice trade from DragOn. And now suddenly it just looks great for DragOn. And this is a bit of a mistake, like I said, from Sterling. When you're taking these bases, I personally really like laying mines out here, just so you can see army movement. Otherwise, your army is just going to be split everywhere, and you're not sure where you need to be defending, and that's kind of what we just saw. Even though Sterling's supply was really, really strong, he had more than enough to easily deflect that, he just was not in position with everything. So caught off guard, lost some SCVs, lost some army, lost his command center. So knocked back down to 2 base mining. Sterling won, I think it was 2-0, 2-1, but I'm not 100% sure. I think they played twice, and I think it was 2-0 and 2-1. But don't quote me on that. Who picked this map? Sterling did, of course. We see the gateway explosion now from DragOn. Those lose a few goons here at the front of Sterling's base. Sterling probably going to look for this push, but we do have this drop here on the top side with these goons and Reavers. Going to kill a bunch more SCVs and disrupt the mining yet again from Sterling. And it's starting to look pretty dire for Sterling. Supply, like I said, still looks good for Sterling, but he's going to have a hard time getting across the map now. Yeah, great drop play here from DragOn. Mining very happily on kind of 3.5 bases at the moment. Like I said, we got our gateway explosion upgrades. We're looking at 0-0-1. Sterling looking at 1-2, so his upgrades are good, but we're not spending with the armories right now, so no third attack or anything like that on the way. A few Dragoons are going to get donated, though, which is a bit scary. I mean, this front base is pretty open. Bunch of mines going to come down defensively, and I think we're just going to push through the middle. And even though DragOn's been trading really well and done a lot of economic damage, this push is very, very scary from Sterling, and we just don't have any units here at the moment. Everything kind of back in our base. Looking to do some more harass here with these 2 Reavers, but need to make sure we don't die on the other side of the map. He has up 40 supply, though, so supply looking very strong for DragOn. Gonna lose this base. Looks like the Reavers did kill off a few tanks, and I think we're bringing them back home now. Oh, big mine hits, though, killing a couple goons and softening up a couple more. If DragOn can clear this army, it's pretty much game over, I think. Sterling going to be basically on 1 base mining by the time this push finishes, but can he clear it is the question. We do have tons of shuttles here. Reavers, Zealots dropping everywhere. And yeah, this fight's going really well for DragOn overall. Good target firing, though, from Sterling, clearing up all those Reavers with basically no shots going off. So what I said was looking like a good fight suddenly does not look like a good fight for DragOn anymore. And there's a lot of tanks left over. And it's starting to look pretty scary now for DragOn. Trying to load up some more Zealots and drop on top of these tanks. But a Vulture Rally comes in to help clear up these Zealots. And DragOn's still up 15 supply or so, but we just don't have anything on the field at the moment. Everything in production. And Sterling's supply a little bit misleading because he lost so many SCVs, right? So his army supply actually very, very large. Only 2 tanks remaining, and it's nothing but a Vulture Rally with these 2 tanks. We just had double Reavers pop out. But a lot of Vultures streaming in. See if these Reavers can work some magic. I mean, DragOn knows he did a ton of damage to Sterling, and he knows he's getting close to mining out. He can see it. Well, he saw it, rather, with the drops earlier. Gonna clear one of these tanks, and GG gonna be called. And we're gonna tie this series up 2-2, going to game 5. That actually was a super close game. Like, I feel like it was a lot closer than it looked. All right. Down to the wire, as Range says. We are on game 5 for all the marbles, as Love Snow would say. And we get to finish with a nice, normal map for Dragon. Definitely last game looking out of his comfort zone. Clearly has not practiced multi-hull, and very few players have. So, yeah, I mean, we saw a lot of it. Just not sure about like some of the mechanics of the map, which actually hurt a lot of his early game. And it came down pretty much to just the last few units there at the end of the game, so it ended up being very, very close. Who is Sterling? The question of the year for StarCraft Brood War. It's always exciting when you get to the final game. You know, you like to think with how the game, the flow of the games have gone, how the players are feeling about how it's all been going, and basically what they're thinking to themselves. What will give me the best chance of winning this series? What is my best build against my opponent? We're getting a 12 gas out of Sterling, something I've never seen before. Right? I think it was a 12 gas. I wasn't really paying attention. Gonna get the first scout off of a 12 scout. It's very early scout for Sterling. He's actually gonna check middle. Maybe worried that Dragon might pull some shenanigans, so yeah, pretty early scout, checking middle here, making sure we're not getting proxy. Gonna be cross scout first, so it's not gonna be first scout like I thought initially. Looks like Dragon skipped Zealot. Which actually I found very surprising. I'm very surprised that we're skipping Zealot. Because we got BBS'd in game 1. I wouldn't trust Sterling. I would probably play as safe as possible, but at the same time, playing overly safe against Sterling can be dangerous because the guy can be crazy greedy, and that's kind of the danger of playing against someone like Sterling, is he'll pull the craziest all-ins or the craziest greedy plays. You never know what you're going to get. And I think that's a very important skill to have in these tournament matches like this, or these show matches. Don't be so predictable. It's going to be a 19 Nexus from Dragon. And it's actually going to work out for him pretty well, I think. It is near spawn, but it is going to be last scout from Sterling. And it's going to be basically the slowest possible scout Sterling could have had. Once again, it's going to be the crawl scout into the missed second scout into another crawl scout. And on Radeon, that takes extra long. Going for add-on first. So no vultures to start here. Gonna get the Goon Scout as Dragon. I really like this scouting pattern he does. Confirms the CC. Sees it as just a normal 23-24 CC timing. And since it's a 19 Nexus, the second Goon's not going to be threatening the bunker or anything like that. So he's actually going to get away with skipping the bunker. He sees the timing of the second Goon here. Robo coming down. So this is pretty much... this seems to be Dragon's most standard build. This is what he did on Deja Vu as well. But Sterling looks like he's going to get away with skipping the bunker. I don't know if he saw the Robo, but we're seeing Armory right away. He did at least see range. He probably saw Robo. I should have been paying more attention to that. But he's going to be able to be very greedy here. So going straight into the Armory, no bunker. Pushing out with his 3 Marines and tank. I actually kind of like this. Going to soften this Goon up a little bit. And he saw the Nexus coming as well, so he should be able to know this was a 19 Nexus. Looks like it was a little bit early on the SCV transfer, but not that big. It'll Dragon with a slight economical lead. And I imagine we're going to see a third gateway, because it seems like his go-to... Well, I say that, but... Okay, observatory. Yeah, that makes sense. Oh, sorry, we already started third gateway. I'm an idiot. So yeah, seems to be his go-to. Just 3 get obs, nice, safe opener. This is pretty much the exact same openings they both did on Deja Vu. Sterling's is slightly more modified. But yeah, he did the same thing where he pushed out with these 3 Marines, 2 tanks, looking for a couple units, and then turning back around. Okay, we did go straight for 3 tanks this time instead of the faster second factory, so it's a little bit different, like I said, from Sterling. Going for the eBay next. +1 started very early. Yeah, not much going on yet. Sterling being very greedy against the frigate ob, so I would say this is... I would call it relatively even, actually. Sterling cutting a couple corners, but smartly so, like, he did it based on what he scouted, so it makes sense. But Dragon did get that 19 Nexus, so his economy is just a little bit further ahead than it would normally be. So I call it a little bit even, maybe slightly Dragon favored still. And we kind of see in the supply, actually, Dragon up 13 supply this early is pretty good. Yeah, Sterling's really good at reading the game state and understanding kind of the best response. And even his turret timing was very good if it had been Reaver instead. Positioning so that he would be able to deflect Reaver, still getting away with no bunker. I mean, at this point, he's not going to make the bunker, so... And even, like, the full wall and stuff. I actually really like this from Sterling so far. Even though Dragon, like I said, he got away with being... with a pretty good opener, for sure. Like, Dragon got a good opener. I really like the adjustment from Sterling to mitigate a lot of the damage. Going up to that 5 factory pretty early. Still on 1 add-on. Tanks not being made or anything like that. Second add-on on the way now. No siege mode started. Moonrai Gaming. With siege not being started though, Dragon unironically could walk across the map and possibly do a lot of damage. I know it doesn't feel that way because you see the 5 fact and stuff, you're on 3 gateway. But yeah, I wouldn't hate seeing him kind of test a little bit of Sterling for skipping siege mode. Tucking the CC in here, but Dragon is actually going to spot it with this observer. I think Sterling saw this one and didn't realize there was one on the inside till just now, so this is not going to be a hidden command center. And yeah, we're just kind of trucking along. It's going to be Arbiter play from Dragon. Third base up and running pretty healthy here at 8 minutes. And it looks like when it comes down to game 5, they both want to play macro. +1 armor started right away. Additional factories being added. No starport yet, which is a little bit interesting to me. Scanning for that observer, finds it down here, so gonna be able to clean that up at least. Into the cancelled CC. And just when you thought it was going to be a macro game from Sterling, even the observer gets tricked. So we got ourselves the classic 8 factory 2 base all in off of 1-1. How dare you think Sterling was going to play normal? And you see it from Dragon. Dragon going up to this 4th base. Scan comes down from Sterling. He's going to spot the gateway timings. He's going to see the Arbiter timing. And there actually might be a bit of a window. I mean, Dragon's not going to be able to get many units out of these gateways before this push comes. I mean, they're only about halfway done, a little bit further along. Sterling going to get a couple rotations out of these factories before Dragon can. And it's looking kind of scary. Dragon not realizing, of course, that the CC was cancelled, so not in that much of a hurry. We'll see if he starts pumping units. I mean, this army is all coming out now. Observer gonna come down here and be like, hey, let me spot your 3rd base. That's not coming down. Does see all these units though. Sterling supply looking pretty good at the moment. We'll see if Dragon starts cutting some corners. Yeah, I was going to say I'd like to see no more probe production. It looks like he may have noticed we see no probes in production right now. Sees how big this army is. And can also see, hey, you don't have a command center over here still. What's going on? That should have finished a while ago. Why are you set up like this and no command center? So hopefully Dragon paying attention is nothing but all in on units at the moment. I mean, he's on 4 base economy, so his eco is fantastic. He just needs to not get crushed by this timing. Gonna scan and kill this observer. He's definitely faking taking this 3rd base at the moment. Could this be the 1-1 max supply all in from Sterling? Yeah, it looks like we're setting up our hotkeys. Unfortunately for him, there is an observer here spotting all of this happening. And yeah, it's just been nothing but units from Dragon. That being said, we're only up 10 supplies, so this is a very scary push coming from Sterling, and he has not been making SCVs, so his army supply is very high at the moment. Arbiter should be out soon, but not out yet. We have some High Templar out. And Dragon just needs to pump army. Try to fight as best as he can, fighting backwards here. Slow it down as much as he can for siege, picking off vultures. He's doing a really good job of that so far. Hasn't lost too many goons, but I mean, there's just so many units barreling down onto Dragon at the moment. Nice to have this observer on the side with the Dragoons. The mines are going to buy a little bit of time. Scan comes down. Templar do have enough energy, but I don't know that he has Storm yet. Oh boy. Nice Storm on top of these tanks and vultures, though. Bit of a spread there from Sterling. Dragon up 10 supply. We got these flanking Dragoons. It's getting really close. Dragon smartly targeting the weaker siege tanks. Good on him for looking for that from the Storm. But we are out of army now. Supply even, but it's pretty much all probes and in production at the moment. But there's no Goliath left, so this Arbiter isn't going to die unless we lose it to the missile turret, which we did. That being said, we still got inside. We're going to clean up a lot of these tanks, and I think Dragon's done it, just barely. Sterling still has a lot of supply. I mean, he's also pumping off of 8 factory. Looks like we have a little bit of a bad rally, leaving a bunch of vultures behind. But now it's just the reinforcements from Dragon. The macro going to be kicking in, the bank, the mining, even adding gateways now in the top right corner. Here comes the additional push from Sterling, but Dragon jumping on top of these tanks, targeting the tanks really well, cleaning up all the tanks, so these Dragoons are definitely the superior unit in these army compositions now. And yeah, we just have this mis-rallied factory, which is definitely hurting. I mean, we need every unit that we can get together here. I mean, we're at 6 AFK vultures now above the natural. I mean, supply still looks pretty good for Sterling. He's just going to commit to this. I mean, he's going to keep going and basically until he's mined out. But all these additional gateways now coming down from Dragon in the top right corner. Going to get the repush. Looks like we did find those vultures, so good for Sterling. That being said, we've only got 2 tanks here. The tank DPS is very low. But we have 1,000,000 vultures. 3rd and 4th tanks show up. First tank gonna go down. A lot of body blocking here from the vultures. Gonna kind of run in and start trying to lay mines on top of these goons as they move forward for these tanks. I mean, goons are gonna get cleared up, even though there's not many tanks. It's enough vultures that we're still putting a lot of threat on these Dragoon. Are we gonna show up again? And Dragon just kind of barely hanging on, but I mean, it's a lot of reinforcements. You just see the macro kicking in from Dragon. We're up 40 supply now. Gonna push this army back again, and our army's just getting bigger and bigger for each push. Sterling pulling further and further behind. GG is called, and Dragon's gonna take this series 3-2. Coming down, like Range said, to the wire. Very close series. Congratulations to Dragon. Gonna win his 15 bucks. Sterling with the trickery not quite paying off. Dragon did a good job identifying and realizing, hey, I need to start cutting workers and focus on army, so very good by Dragon. He canceled it. Yeah, he went 8 factory to make it look like he's taking a third and then canceled. They did not play yet. They're going to play this weekend. So we're supposed to be doing the matches on Friday through Sunday, but Sterling wasn't able to play on the weekend, so we did this one a day early. So the matches we have pretty much confirmed was obviously Sterling versus Dragon. We got Moonryan, Ranged, Urmon and Love Snow, and Jayun and Artosis. We just don't have times for them yet, so as I get times, I will let you guys know. Alright, that's going to do it for me. Good series. I'm actually pretty happy with that. What's up, Robert? We just finished up. Okay, I'm gonna head out. I'll probably come back and play some BGH tonight. I haven't played BGH in several days, so I'm gonna take a break. I'm gonna eat and stuff. I was very happy with the series. Very good series. I'm glad I went to Game 5. It was very, very close. Good stuff. GG's. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys are enjoyed the cast. And yeah, we'll be on with BGH tomorrow. And like I said, I'll let you guys know whenever we get the other stuff scheduled. But you guys have a good night. Catch you guys later. Peace.